Hi, hello. Hi everyone. So this is my first Instagram live. Quite nerve-wracking. I'm not sure why I've not been doing Instagram lives, but I'm going to start doing them, and hopefully I'll get more of you joining in to be able to ask more direct questions. I thought it would be good to do them also because you're talking to people all the time on videos and posts, but it's nice to also interact. So if you have any questions, any of the videos, or even now what's happening in your business, or whether you're in e-commerce, drop shipping, generally in business, and you're having any issues, you can ask me questions, or you can ask questions about me, how I'm coping with all of these COVID issues with my businesses. Anything you want to ask, you can ask away. You can suggest topics that you want me to talk about or share insights on, and I'll do my best. If I don't know, I'll go and do the research and come and share with you. I am an entrepreneur. I am also a business and human capital consultant. So I am working in many businesses and working with all types of sizes of businesses. So you'll be in good hands. But I don't claim to know everything. So if I don't know and everyone's like, really want to know more about this, I will do the research and I will come and share with you. The idea is to share value. I don't see the point in having information and not sharing it with people if it's going to help them. So if you have questions, do ask. People are doing really well with the mobile commerce, but there are a few things that people need to kind of be doing to make sure that they're able to sell more of their products and things. So I'll do my best to share some. Me myself, I've moved into the e-commerce space after years of kind of deliberating, and I'm finding it very interesting, but it's very challenging. It's not easy to get sales. It's not easy to make sure you have the right images, to make sure your website is functioning, payments. The pandemic has been quite difficult. I mean, this year, I think most of us are trying to survive and thrive, or let's say survive and recover. And it seemed very positive, and now we're having this second wave, which is kind of affecting things a bit. But generally, you have to have a plan. That one, if you don't take anything away from me, if you're in business, you need to have a plan, and that plan needs to look at your finances, your workers, your systems, and it needs to look at your processes. That's your supply chain. If you don't have a plan, you can muddle your way through, but you'd be more effective if you had a plan. For example, for me, on one of my retail, I have come out of the retail and I'm doing it online because it did not make sense to pay rent and sell these products online. I don't actually need a physical store. I've decided to come out of the physical store and sell these products online. And when things improve, I'll now reconsider whether I want to have a brick and mortar space to sell from. So you need to think about ways of saving costs. On my YouTube video, I'll give you lots of guides on different things that you can do to do that, so you can check that out. But you do need to plan. The finances are very important, because if you don't plan the finances, it becomes very difficult for you to survive. All right, so you need to plan your recovery, and I'm going to be doing things I'm going to be doing videos covering some of the steps, some of the things you need to be thinking about, and stuff like that, so that I'm hoping that will help you or to plan. A lot of businesses are not, are small or micro, so maybe it's just you, so you don't really see that you need to do some of these things. But what I say is that all businesses start off small. All businesses start off. I don't believe we all always have exact vision, but they expand and become big businesses. So even if you don't want to be a big business, you just want a livelihood, something that takes care of you. You want to do it well. And if you do it well, you make more money. So some of these things, you need to kind of consider it for your business. That's what I'll say. I mean, when I started, went into business in 2007, I had no idea. I'd never run a business. I've literally had to learn a lot through the years on how to run a business. And then through my working in businesses, I've learned so much. But I'm grateful for the learning. And in that learning, you got to know that, okay, there are certain things I've just got to do to make sure my business is sustainable. So I want to encourage you to think about where your business is now and where you're trying to get your business to. Even though we're in a pandemic, there's a lot of opportunities within the pandemic. I think for me, what the pandemic showed me was all the weaknesses of my business models and the weaknesses in my businesses. And he also, like, for example, in my consulting business, I saw that I had too many staff. Can you imagine? I mean, human capital now, I have too many staff. And that's only because the environment we're in, sometimes it's really difficult to find people who can just be kind of resourceful. They can do quite a number of things. So you find yourself having to find people to do things. So that was the first thing. And when COVID hit and I had to take some decisions, i.e., the consultant has different areas. So the areas that weren't functioning, people into other areas, or we had to temporarily lay them off. And that gave me a window to see that actually I have too many people and that we were not being as effective as we could be, like, for example, in the back office and in the operations. So now I had to re-look at it. We've been a technology-led company, but COVID made us have to expedite. I had to find out how to work safely. COVID hadn't come, I probably wouldn't have looked at my service model and changed my model. So insofar as it's stressful, on the e-commerce side, on my online store, I had to take the whole website down. And let me say that I understand that people are doing mobile commerce. So we were selling on Instagram, we're selling on WhatsApp and Facebook, and that's all good. But if you can, you should have your own website. And if you don't want to pay, and I know website prices vary all over the place, but if you don't want to have to pay, you can build a site yourself. You really can, and you don't need to have any technical skills. I don't have any technical skill. In fact, if you watch one of my previous videos, you learn that I learned to build websites because somebody hijacked my website in the early days. She agreed with me. Oh, she was like, oh, you just started, it's fine. I won't even charge you to update. She did me four-page website. Those times they were static. They were not like now. And I didn't know anything about websites. So literally, as they say, your hand was in her mouth. And when the recession hit, in the UK, to charge me, I said, okay, no problem, let's agree a fee, because as entrepreneurs we prefer to work with fixed prices because it helps us to plan and manage our finances better than variable pricing. She said, oh no, when you bring the renewal, then when you bring the content, then I'll quote you. So I thought, to cut a long story short, it started off, maybe she would charge me £25, then maybe £50 I could manage. Then she just started over to 100, and I couldn't afford it. And basically became a case of, if you can't afford it, I can't update your website. Me too, I don't know how to access it. So there you are. I had to abandon the site. That upset me. And now I became obviously not trusting, because do I go and find another person to do the same thing to me? So I said, okay, let me investigate website. Lo and behold, that's how I got into building website. I found out that there are platforms you can build, and I didn't have to be an expert. So I decided to try them out. And as you keep trying, you learn. And now, fast forward up to this point, the platforms like Wix, Shopify, BigCommerce, they're amazing. Literally, you can build a site within an hour. Everything is there. Everything is there. And that's where I've been building my site. All my e-commerce sites are with Wix. My dropshipping one is the only one I'm doing on Shopify and AliDrop. But they are all great platforms. Like, you can just build yourself. Security from the e-commerce is important, and websites generally, people come to your site, they know that you have a payment, whether you're using Stack or Flutterwave or Express Pay, or whichever one you're using, PayPal, whichever one. There's a bit more trust because they know these platforms would have had to verify or do some due diligence. So people are a little bit more comfortable. I have to be honest with you, I've ordered things and I've not gotten them. I've ordered them on Instagram, I've ordered them on WhatsApp groups, and I've not gotten them. So I am, it's a rock of, like, for me to order from a business, I have to check all the social proofs. I'm usually going to see, do they have a website and all of those things, but I shouldn't have to. I should just be able to shop on your Instagram or wherever. But we're not in a perfect place. So people tend to be a little bit more trusting with the website because they know if you're using Visa, you're connected to a bank and all of those things. So it really does help with you getting and sustaining some customers who may be seeing everything you're doing, but they're not buying because they're not secure to even pay by mobile money off Instagram. So I tell you I like the product, you tell me to WhatsApp you. People are not comfortable with that. When you're selling on Instagram, one of my stores I'm selling on Instagram, they should be able to make payment right there. So people trust those things. So how you even activate your payment is very important. But the importance of a website is that it gives you, sometimes I'm just talking as a customer because I'm also a customer as much as also, providing products to customers. When you may see something and I don't probably want to initially engage with you, I want to go on the website, look at the product, read more about it, see what else you have. But when you're doing on the mobile commerce, it's like the minute you're engaged, you just feel like this pressure that you have to have this conversation. So think about all these things, because you won't know, because obviously someone's not going to come and tell you. They'll just kind of be scrolling on your Facebook or Instagram and just move on. But where people can actually just in their own time have a look at your stuff and then come and re-engage, encourage that. So the website allows you to do that. So I've done stuff on website and I'll keep doing it. It's really not that expensive and you are in control. As an entrepreneur, it's good to keep getting people to do things, but I've learned to be a very hands-on entrepreneur. Sometimes my peers will be like, oh, for goodness sake, you're an owner, you're this and that. I don't take to that. At the end of the day, it's my business. I have to be the driver and I have to be hands-on. I believe in being a proactive and a continuous learning entrepreneur, because I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it really helps you out when things get a bit difficult. I just wanted you to know that it's good to be hands-on, and if you are selling online, you should consider having a website. It's a much stronger social proof than just kind of being on your Instagram. And right now you want to make sales. I have to say, I said it earlier on last year when COVID started, on customers and safety. Right now, people are about safety, and so you've got to show them that whatever product, whether you're selling products, whether you're in hospitality, whatever business you're in, that they can be safe, And right now, people have slacked. You go out and people are not really ensuring a lot of the safety within their businesses. And when people are even driving past your business, for those of you who are still in, brick and mortar selling, and they are seeing breaches in people coming in and out of your shop, they're not going to come. So the encouragement is, make sure you have, the hand wash bays where people can wash their hands and sanitize. If they are coming into your shop, make sure that you're social distancing. If you have a small shop, it may mean that one of your staff has to regulate how many people are in the shop at any given time. Maybe it can only be 2 people, 3 people at a time, but you explain to the customers for their own safety to social distance. Making sure people have their masks on is very important. Some people have really gone the extreme where they give you plastic gloves when you enter, so that if you want to touch something, you use that, and then when you come out, you just drop it in the bin, so you don't touch things with your hands. Others have they've gotten like spatula, sticks and all kinds of not sticks, but I don't know what they're called, but literally you can use it to pick things. And some people have really gone the mile to make sure that people are feeling safe. So you can also look at what can work for your business. But safety is a real big deal right now. And if you're working, if you're having a shop where you're having ACs and fans, I recommend that in as far as possible, you need to make sure that you're opening the door to get some air circulating there, because at the moment, the way the COVID is spreading is because of enclosed spaces, especially in a workplace, all right, in a workplace. So your shop, your restaurant, wherever you're running your business, you need to look at ventilation somehow throughout the day, in as far as possible, bringing in natural air, very important. And people want to see this. When you're packaging things, like when I'm packaging some of my things, I'm wearing gloves, I'm using antiseptic wipes to make sure I'm wiping everything before I package things, because we all have to be careful. And then before I send. So you could also look at, if you've got others helping you to pack things, making sure that people are being safe, as well as in terms of products going to customers, as well as services where people are coming to you. Very, very important. And you have to share this with your customers. Customers want to know what you're doing. So I think it's important to share with customers what you're doing to keep them safe. And you can share that on your social handles. You can, send them emails, text messages, however you communicate with your customers, and let them know that, look, this is how we're doing it. We're safe. Come and enjoy our services. Come and buy our products. But a lot of people are not doing that. And so, already sales are down because of the pandemic. But, the sales that are out there, we have to kind of fight for. So you got to do the right things to make sure you're going to get. Also, customer service. Inquiries have you had? And then it kind of cut off. Have you gone back to follow up? Sometimes people start conversations and then they cut off, not because they don't want to, but maybe they got distracted, or they're not sure, or they need to come back to you. I've made inquiries. I've had some come back, but a lot don't come back. So, and when they don't come back, you just kind of think, well, they don't need the business, or somebody else comes and sells to you and you go with that person. So right now, when you need sales, you need to look at customers who make inquiries that maybe they don't go through to sell. Reconnect with them periodically, like, oh, just checking on you, just letting you know what we have, or we're doing a sale, etc. Follow up. And then your customers, try and solve customer problems. Sometimes we take this mindset that, well, you can just go and I'll get another customer. It takes a very long time to get customers, so when you get a customer, you don't want to be losing the customer. So you have to handle, customer service, we keep saying it, people keep talking about it, and some people take it seriously, others don't. But your customer service, especially on e-commerce, has to be very, very good. Purchase stuff where they didn't even bother to tell me. They said, oh, it'll be delivered. Okay, fine, you have to pay for it, no problem. That kind of thing. There was no follow-up to see, did you get the product? How was it? Nothing. I'm not going to come back and say anything to you. I'm just not going to use your service again. That's it, because nobody wants to be having lectures and having arguments with people. You can't even be bothered to check and see. You don't have to call me, but you can just message. Did you get your product? Maybe I did and I'm not happy with it, but I don't want to approach you and discuss it. I've just said, I'll just keep it like that. So I'm just saying that take time to build relationship, because that brings you back the customer. It really, if you just do an exercise where you time yourself on how long it takes you to get customers, all right, and then you already have customers that have bought from you, and research shows that people who have bought from you are likely to keep buying from you. But you've got to keep their interest, because we have so many options now. So people are not really trying to work hard when you're not engaging with them. So you've got to do the work. If someone is upset, all right, and you're not going to do them a refund, you can offer them a discount. You can offer them something else. You can offer them a free delivery of their next item, or you can even add another item. Look, that item you're adding, yes, you think you've made a loss, but you've saved a customer. Usually customers will keep coming back when you solve their problem, when they see that actually you don't want to lose them, and you solve the problem. So I'm just saying, have value your customers right now in COVID, because everybody is looking for a bargain, and they are looking everywhere. So if your product is good, your price is right, get your service right. It's the best approach. But a lot of people are not doing that. They don't care. And also, if you're selling on Instagram, I mean, I've had to take some sessions on photo shoots and imaging and stuff, so I'm sharing it with you. Your images have to be sharp. I mean, we all do it. Sometimes you may post something and it's not up, but generally your product images, you've got to make sure they're clear. You can, if you're not going to do the shoots yourself because you just like, I just don't want to do this, find a product photographer. There's a difference between those who are doing photo shoots and all those glam images to product photographers, okay? Because they are used to shooting products, so they're gonna do you well. And maybe you don't have to shoot every product you've got, but you can pick all your top selling or your best products and get them to shoot, so that you can use those images to sell or draw people to your website or your mobile site, if you're using mobile commerce. Images on Instagram, sometimes I see really nice things, but I can't see it very clearly, or the way it's being presented, it just kind of, you're there but you're not there. People are very visual, especially on Instagram and Facebook. And people are visual because they want to have a clear idea of what the product looks like. So the sharper the image, the better it is. And that's very important. A lot of images are not, the backgrounds that images are being taken for clothes. One of the things I've noticed with people who are selling clothes is that they take the picture of the clothes, but then they have folded the sides of the clothes in. And I'm like, that's not giving me the shape of the dress or the shirt or the item you're selling me, pushing it in. It may look nice, but I don't get the shape of the item you're selling me. So if you're going to do that, you should do an image first of the dress, open up as it is on whichever background, making sure it's clear. Then you can take a second image where you've pushed it in because you want it to look a certain way. And then you post both images so I can see, okay, this is it when you've not pushed the sides in, and this is it when you've pushed the sides in. It's very important because dresses, you need to know the shape. You can avoid that. If not, 2 images, clear images. And then product information. People don't really say a lot about the products they're posting. So you don't know what material, you don't know if it's dry clean, you don't know much about the product, which is why I come back to my point about websites. So you're just like, okay, you move on, and so you tend to go with the commerce or the businesses who have actually put in the effort I'm talking to you about, and so some people may not understand, why am I not selling, and that my stuff are good. Why? Is some of these very little things, but the customer is relentless. There's no customer loyalties, guys. It's as far as you can please them. That's what I'm saying. Service is very important. If they see an option, they're going to go for it because they have options. So you need to, every little thing, you need to try and make sure you are trying to do the little things to keep your customers engaged. Short videos explaining what the product is, giving the clarity in the video. If you do a post, you don't have to write an essay, but at least this is cotton, hand wash, is or silk or whatever the material is. There's just some information. It fits well. It's loose fit, but it's shapely. Some information. Nothing usually. You just get an image, price, WhatsApp me, DM me, that kind of thing, and which is why I was saying that websites help, because there maybe you put a bit more description. If you're posting things on products, try and say something about it. And then also, what I tend to do with my lingerie brand is that when I post something, I try to share an education and link it to the product, so that it's not always that every minute you're just bombarding people with products, buy this, buy that. Educate your customers on the product. I've had to educate my customers on my laundry. Is that because I bring in all kinds of different accessories and things that people may not be used to or may see, but they don't know how it can work for them. Videos, I do I call something care tips, tips on why this product, why should you wear mode, underwire, this and that. And so you are educating your customers to understand your products, you know, in a light way, not heavy way. So short videos, 1 minute, 2 minutes, you know, 30 seconds, that kind of thing, just to educate them. And it's not always that you're just kind of posting about sales. So think about how you can share some of your products, but give some information that may be useful to your customers. So if you're selling cotton dresses or something, or cotton trousers, you may say, you know, you may say something about cotton, that actually cotton is the most comfortable material for hot country, and this particular dress is light, is airy, you're not going to feel hot. And you should, you know, in a hot country, you should try and have as many nice cotton outfits as possible. You've educated someone who may not know that cotton is the ideal for a hot country. You know, if you're going to wear, you know, satin, you know, make sure you do this to keep cool. That's the most hot, you know, you can get very hot in it, but you can layer it. You can have an underlay that can keep you cooler, all those kind of things. So you're selling your item, but you're educating your customers, or you're sharing information that they didn't know. And that's usually likely to let them also read the post you've put in. And when people see the headline is something that they're going to benefit them. Even watching your video, it's what's in it for me. So if they read it and they can't really see what's in it for them, it's just, okay, buy my item, they're just going to move on to the next one. So really try and be creative with how you put your information out there, and get creative. You know, on me, or when you listen to the social media gurus and stuff, they're all kind of trying to get us to just all do the same thing. And I just think, you know, do what makes you comfortable, and stand out positively. You know, we don't all have to conform to just this one way, because in fact people tend to embrace a bit of different, because it just gets their attention, and you find out you get more engagement, you know. So find what works for you. You know, some people say, okay, you have to post 5 times, 6 times. Really? You know, if I keep seeing your post 6 times, I'm probably going to mute you. We have to think about the audience that are following us. We have to think about it from our perspective. How do we feel in how we're interacting on these handles, and how do they feel? And if someone can do 6, no problem, but you may only be able to do 2 or 3 or 1. It's okay. It's the consistency, and it's what you're putting out there. So even your marketing, you need to make sure that it's aligning to what you can do. You know, for me, I'm all about moderation. I guess maybe I'm sometimes doing it according to how I look at platforms, but I just think that, you know, there are different platforms, and different platforms you have to do different things, but we have to be careful not to also bombard people so that they just kind of just feel like, oh gosh, constantly every time I turn on my Instagram, or I'm on my Facebook, or my LinkedIn, or like your face, you know, you're just in my face. So they start muting and all kinds of things like that. You don't want that. So make your posts count, and, you know, post as you can. All right, so if you can do 2, 3, and you feel that's working for your customers, fine. I'm just saying, don't feel compelled to follow things that sometimes it's not practical. Sometimes, like for me, I want to handle some of my posts and some of the things that are going on my platforms, because you know where you're trying to get to. So I can only do so within my time capacity, and sometimes you see that my videos become a bit slow. You don't see me for a bit. It's because I'm a little bit busy, and now I've said no, I have to be consistent. At least once a week I should do a video, but it's just time, you know. And I try to be real with myself. I'm not trying to create some impression here. It gets busy, you know. You're a mom, you're a wife, you're running businesses, you need some me time. Like, it's not easy. So I try and do things within my time, and you can't manage time, you have to work within time. So if I can do it, I'm going to do it. If I can't, I can't. And it works for me, because before, the stress of just trying to just do everything because, you know, A, B, and C, no. Now is within, and actually you're more productive because you get more things done because it's within your time, and you're not trying to fit in a whole additional things that you don't need to. So I'm just saying, manage the social media, but have a strategy that works for you, your business and the people who are following you. So follow people because I'm trying to understand trends, what's happening and whatnot, so I can share insights with those who follow me. But just be real with yourself. Don't overburden yourself with so many things. A step at a time. You know, one of my favorite books is The Hare and the Tortoise, because slow and sturdy wins the race, but sometimes people want to be the hare. They just want to run, but the hare didn't win the race. The tortoise did, because he was sturdy in how he was approaching things, and you will get there. That's what I want to say. I've at least shared some information that you find useful. I am going to be doing these live chats, and I'm sure as I start doing them, more people will join. And then I'm actually also going to do the videos that are a bit more about focusing on specific topics that can help you. But if you have questions or you there's something you want to ask, you can always DM me. I answer my DMs. Even if you don't get me, I'll answer my DM, because if you've taken the time to ask me the question, I should at least make the time to answer it. And if I don't know the answer, I'll tell you, what, I'm not sure about it. All right, so I'm hoping that I'm going to be doing a few more of this, and as I go along, I'll get to know some of you and interact a bit more. And so I'm not just on the Instagram. I'm trying to put different content on the different platforms, because I think it's different audiences. But if you're on LinkedIn, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. So if you're on TikTok, you can follow me on there as well. And then of course Twitter. Facebook, I kind of use it more for business than I have a Facebook account active on it. So usually what I tend to do is, if I post something on Instagram, then I'll just share it onto my Facebook page, because I'm not really actively on there. But the other platforms I just mentioned, my YouTube channel, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and of course Instagram I'm on. So take your pick. But if you message me, I will answer. So thank you for those of you who joined me. It's good chatting. I hope next time you ask me more questions. But sometimes, when it's to do with business, people are not always comfortable to ask. So if you want to ask it afterwards, it's perfectly fine. So I hope I'll see you at my next live. I'm probably going to try and do mornings and then perhaps evenings as well. Maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. But if I'm doing it, I'll try and post on it so that you see. But I think generally when I come live, as I have learned today, it kind of notifies you. So if you're online, you can join. All right. So thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure, and I hope to get to know more of you, and all the best, okay, with your business. Take some of the tips that I've said. It shall be well. We will come out of this COVID, and we'll go on and do greater things. So hang in there. It's not easy, but we're getting there a step at a time. Thank you. Have a good day. Until the next time.